The government can and is willing to use terror attacks against their own people to achieve their goals. I mean, just think about that. The government can and is willing to use terror attacks against their own people. It's well documented. You can look it up. There are many cases of this. Operation Northwoods is one of the most famous examples. This was declassified. It was a 1970 memo where the CIA planned to do all kinds of major terror attacks across the United States, blame it on the Cubans, and they thought that this would create a pretext to go to war against the Castro regime in Cuba. You can look it up, totally real. You know, and Las Vegas is another episode where you have to ask yourself, is that what happened here? Was this a gun trafficking deal gone wrong? You know, is this some kind of CIA, FBI operation gone wrong? It would make a lot of sense. If the FBI couldn't get to the bottom of it, maybe they weren't trying. Maybe they knew it was happening from the start, and there never really was an investigation, right? And then this is what it's all about. This is why in a liberal democratic society, the information stuff is so important. And I've said this before. In a country like Russia, it's almost preferable because sure, Vladimir Putin is in charge, but Vladimir Putin at the end of the day doesn't really care if you know he's in charge or not. You know, if you're in Russia, you might very well say, yeah, like Putin is in control. Like, yeah, he rigged the election. And even when he wasn't the president, when he was only the prime minister, like he was still in control and all these oligarchs answer to him and he controls the media and so on. Well, you can say that as long as you don't really have a problem with it, you know? But in a liberal, democratic, and really in a technological, industrial society, it doesn't work like that. You have to be made to believe what's happening is of your own making. You have to believe it is a necessary part of the system of control that you are buying into what's happening, you know? I think Ted Kaczynski wrote a little bit about this. You have to be molded and shaped so that you fit into the system and serve the system. And you have to believe that all of this is good for us and of our own making, because at the end of the day, we do vote at the ballot box. So at the end of the day, the whole system is contingent on us buying into this and saying, I'm choosing one guy over the other. I'm going in and I'm making a choice. I'm making a selection. We are controlling, however marginally, you know, as one individual voter, we are controlling our destiny. And we can be part of political activism groups and whatever, but we have sovereignty. We have autonomy. We're making choices about what's happening. I'm going to vote Republican this time. Oh, I don't know. Now I'm going to vote Democrat this time. Completely ignoring that none of this really matters. It's all contingent on us believing, you know, watching what they want us to watch, seeing what they want us to see, looking at the things they want us to pay attention to, and ultimately, you know, believing this is all a product of our own decisions, when it isn't. It's clearly directed. That's the biggest lie of the free market, is that this spontaneous order is this democratic thing where, you know, everybody gets what they want because they vote with their dollar and they vote with their feet. Well, clearly, society is hierarchical, you know, it is asymmetrical. Not everybody is equal. Not everybody's equal in terms of their mental capacity and in terms of their resources. So are you really going to tell me that the people that control these oligopolistic markets or monopolistic markets are not directing consumer tastes? Are you really telling me that the media cartel is not directing what people are looking at and what they're seeing? Are you telling me that, like, your average media consumer is going to say, well, Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, well, you know, they're not giving it to me straight. I'm going to look at an alternative media source. Who's going to be the alternative media source? You know, do you think that ABC, NBC, all these major media companies, do you see that maybe just by the virtue of their legitimacy and their credibility and their existence, that they in some way are directing the market, are directing the society, have an inadvertent amount of control over the society? They have perhaps more agency in this equation than any individual media consumer, and you know, it goes with every institution of power in the country, you know? But the lie of the free market and the democracy is we are all sovereign citizens. We vote with our ballot, we vote with our dollar, we vote with our feet, and we are in control. Well, are you really? You're bombarded with advertisements every second of every day. You practically can't walk outside the house or brush your teeth without watching an advertisement. You don't think there's anything in there? You don't think that there's anything toxic? You know? You don't think there's any kind of group control effect? That there's some kind of degree of group control, that people are conforming to the social order, and the social order is being directed by influencers and tastemakers, and maybe those people are being guided? I mean, don't you see why it's not really as it seems? And I'm not trying to say that, you know, I'm not one of these freedom zealots by no stretch. I'm not saying that the solution is to free the people, man, and wake everyone up. The point is to say this: in every society, you have an elite. In every society, this is the way it goes. The masses do not have agency. The masses do not have the internal monologue. They are not really these critical thinkers and rational people, and that's okay. That's how it's always been. But the elite is working against us. The point of this is to say, it's not that we're against the idea of an elite, which might be directing things and might be running the show. It's the idea that this elite is clearly hostile to us. This elite is clearly lying, they're deceptive, and clearly they are subverting and actively hostile to our interests. And that is really the takeaway. It's not, so that means we have to be anarchists, or we have to be libertarians, we have to be, I'm putting on my cowboy hat and listening to InfoWars, and I'm a rootin' tootin' patriot, I'm a sovereign citizen. It's to say, look, in every society you have a hierarchy. In every society you have a top of the pyramid and a bottom of the pyramid. This is how societies function. That said, who is at the top of the pyramid? Are they serving us? Are they serving the interests of the people? Who are they? Are they us? Are they like us? I don't think that they are. I think they're very much not like us. And that's why they're hostile to our interests. We're Americans. They are not. We are European. They are not. And that's really the takeaway here.